Hey guys, it's Faith and Fame with me, AAV. I may not know you personally, but one thing I do know, you're waiting on something. And sometimes that waiting for the unknown can be frustrating or even overwhelming. I myself am currently in the stage of waiting. You're asking God for directions, looking for answers, or expecting some upcoming changes to happen. Well, part of life is moments, set fixed moments, that is, where there's a season to everything in your life. So what do you do in this season of waiting? One thing that I do is remember what God has done in the past, and then you got to remember what you've done, how you worked hard for it, how you studied for it, went to school for it, how you planned for it. You have to have that season of patience and waiting. And one way to do that, to energize you, is remember all the things that God has done for you in the past, whether He opened a door, gave you a job opportunity, brought people into your life to speak or to invest in you. You got to remember God's past blessings on your life and how He's made, as my grandmother would say, ways out of no way. Secondly, it's an opportunity for you to deepen your prayer life. Why worry when you can pray? One of the hardest things to do for us is to try to escape from that season of worrying, because it's going to come. It's going to knock on your door. But prayer gives us an opportunity to be intimate with God, where we can not overanalyze our future, but focus on the promises that God has given us. He's so much bigger than your present worries or your present situation. It gives you a time to connect with God, communicate with God, and spend time with God while waiting, and that'll enhance and develop your relationship with Him. And you'll just know that you don't have to worry about tomorrow, because God is an eternal God. He's a God that sees far ahead of us, and He draws us into the potential. He sees the end result from the beginning, as the Bible tells us. So it gives us an opportunity to tap into the potential that God has and that God gives through His word. And then another thing that I do while waiting is got to deal with the baggage. It's a period of healing and growth. It's all about growth. That's what life is. That's what the stages is. That's why we go to school, because we want to grow and develop even in our knowledge. Well, life is like that too. It gives you an opportunity to get the baggage out, to renew your mind, and just some personal inner things or struggles that you may have while in that season of waiting. It gives you an opportunity to stop worrying. It gives you an opportunity to work on your patience. It gives you an opportunity to work on certain things in your life that the baggage or people that you may have to get rid of. And then finally, go back to dreaming big. Man, you remember when you were sitting in school and they would always ask you the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? And you had this big, outrageous dream that you wanted to do. Wasn't it amazing, man? It gave you some expectation and some hope and some things that you want to accomplish in life. We got to get back to dreaming big and stop being so stressed and depressed and worried about what tomorrow is going to bring to us. Let's get back to dreaming big so we can keep the dreams and the vision alive in our life. And that's going to give us energy, the expectation of big things. As the Bible says, we can call those things that be not as though they were. It was like Abraham, when God gave him the promise that he would have a child. He held on to the word against hope, even though his body was old. Sarah was past the barren stage. He held on to the hope of the word, and that drawed his expectation, or took his expectation up to a whole new level. And then spend this time of worshiping God, knowing that God attention of God is not just based upon when you need something. It's not like kids when we used to wait on our parents to come home to bring us something. That's not what worship is all about. But worship is about focusing on God, who He is, His character, His nature, and not just focusing on what God can bring you, but focusing on the ways and purpose of God. So if you spend time worshiping and dreaming big, dealing with your baggage, deepening your prayer life, and remembering what God has done for you and with you through the past, then that's going to give you some keys of some things to do while you wait on God. That's Faith and Fame with me, AV. Be blessed.